facts about Chaucer and the brief summary of the Canterbury Tales. Geoffrey Chaucer was a medieval English poet, writer, and philosopher mm, who is best known for the Canterbury Tales. He was also known as the father of the English poetry, mm, and he was the first poet who wrote in English, in medieval English, because before Chaucer, most of the writings were written in Latin and French languages. He was a bureaucrat, courtier, diplomat, and a member of parliament. He wrote many other works, but the most important work he wrote was the Canterbury Tales. Mm, in this poem, the Canterbury Tales, it was a collection of stories written by Chaucer in late 14th century. It is considered as the seminal work in English literature and provides vivid portrayal of the medieval society. In this poem, uh, in the beginning scene, we see that um, several peoples gather and they want to visit the Saint Saint Thomas Barket shrine in Canterbury. So they decided to pass their times. They deliver stories which will help in passing their times. So it was decided that each person will say two stories in the beginning of the journey and two stories in the returning time. The most important parts in this poem, the Canterbury Tales, is its characterization. In this poem, Chaucer have taken several people with different backgrounds, such as someone who is the knight, someone who is rich merchants, and someone who is greedy. That means they have taken different characterization of the people at that time, and from this story we can easily understand, and it gives a snapshot of the medieval period and the peoples living at that time, and their mental and their societal, political, and different, and their thinkings in different perspectives. It provides insights to the social, religious, and cultural dynamics of the time. In this poetry, a group of pilgrims from different social classes on a journey to Canterbury who agrees to tell stories to pass the time. Church was acquainted with people from all classes, and this is the evident in the details he chose, as we all. In this poem, we also see that Chaucer has given a very detail of every character, such as their dress code, their hairstyles, the accent they use to speak. That means Chaucer gave a detailed characterization of their characters and that the things prevalent in that period of time. The character in this prologue of the Canterbury Tales includes the knight, the squire, the prince, sorry, prince, the monk, the fair, the merchant, and there are many characters in which I have mentioned only a few in the notes. Each character is described in detail by Chaucer, highlight their physical appearance, occupation, personality traits, and social standings. Some of the most important characters in this Canterbury Tales is knight, who is a noble person and who have fought many battles. A squire, son of the knight, and the details is given here. Physician, pardoner, host. If we see the pardoner, he sells false religious relics and pardons for profit. That means in this poem, a character named Pardoner who sells the false religious relics and from which he gain profits, and for that he beg pardon from the god. That it also said the physician who was a greedy person, the host, that means the person who was hosting these all scenarios. In this pilgrims, in all these pilgrims, one pilgrim was Chaucer itself. Each character represents a different social classes and personality type, provides a diverse and colorful cast for the tales. But if we see, everything is not correct in this poem, so some of the critics also criticize these poems because it was no more details was given of the every character. The story was not very much complete. uh, Especially the women and certain social groups was their portrayal was sound like the biases of that time. So this poem vocabulary, that means if we see, if we read the Chaucer's poetry, then we find that he used Latin, he used French words, he used Italian. So he has a very large number of vocabulary. So these questions are asked in previous year question in IGNOU MEG1 examination. So Chaucer vocabulary in his poetry was influenced by various sources such as Old English, French, Latin and Italian. He exposure to these languages and their literature during his travel and studies greatly enriched his writings. In the last video we have also discussed about that Chaucer also worked as a diplomat. He went to France as an army to fight the battle of 100 years of which was fighting between England and France. He also visit Italy, where he was very much influenced by Dante and Boccaccio. So his literary, his vocabulary was very much enriched by these journeys, and which was shown in his literary sources. And in this in the note we have also given some examples from where he takes he used the Latin words, where he used the Italian words. For example, if we see in the Canterbury Tales, he used mainly the French words. So it was very much clear that his journey and his traveling helped him a lot to enrich their vocabulary. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe. Thanks. In the next video we will see more about the Chaucer and in detail the poem The Canterbury Tales. Thanks.